Washington, D.C. by Priya Sridhar tonight. Priya, what is the American point of view tonight on who's been responsible for the hold-up then?
Hey, Kevin. Well, you know, no one's really pointing fingers here. President Barack Obama said that the U.S. and Russia are, quote, quite close to signing the treaty. So many people are just wondering what's going on. And joining me to help figure that out is Hans Christensen, director of the Nuclear Information Project. Hans, thanks so much for joining me.
Nice to be here.
So first of all, I want to ask you, clearly this treaty was important enough for President Obama and President Medvedev to meet on the sidelines in Copenhagen. So, I mean, why hasn't it happened yet?
In all treaty negotiations, there are these last-minute issues or even consistent issues that run through the entire length of the negotiations. And in this particular case, it seems to have been something related to the verification regime, particularly an agreement or disagreement over who has the right to inspect what missile facility. The Russians are producing missiles, ballistic missiles still, new ones. The Americans are not yet. But there's some disagreement. There has been some disagreement. I hear three issues are causing concern, that being one of them. The other one being about how to exchange telemetry data from missile tests. And the third one being, if you say the bigger issue of how many strategic delivery vehicles should the treaty actually decide on. And that has been a long, contentious issue.
And so what needs to happen for these two parties to overcome those challenges?
Right. Well, one would have hoped that when the presidents were getting together in Copenhagen, one of the messages would have been to the negotiators, fix it, get over it. You can always negotiate a treaty endlessly to the point where each side has perfection or wants to get all its issues settled. But I think there are bigger issues that I hope the presidents are stressing here, that it's important to move ahead on this, regardless of there being some disagreement about some of these issues. Not having a picture-perfect treaty necessarily, but one that both sides can live with.
And so, I mean, what's the status right now? I mean, I know that the American nuclear inspectors left Russia, so
yeah.
Are we in a nuclear limbo right now, or are they working off the old treaty that was expired?
The old treaty is very much the basis of it. In my understanding, it's sort of a hybrid treaty between that old START treaty from the early 90s and the Moscow treaty from 2002. The old treaty from the 1990s has the most important part, if you will, which is the verification regime. The newer treaty has this agreement of a range of warheads, a range of delivery vehicles. You don't have to land on one particular number. And so I think they're trying to combine those two.
And so I guess the biggest question right now is, when do you predict this is actually going to happen? And do you foresee any new problems coming up that haven't been dealt with yet?
Well, I think, the time of prediction is over. We've heard so many times that it was just around the corner. And now we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. I have no rumors. Every time I hear a rumor, it turns out to be wrong.
Well, Kevin, it sounds like it's anyone's guess at this point, so we're going to keep you updated on it from here in Washington, D.C., but for now, it's back to you in Moscow.
Yeah, Priya, just reminding our viewers as well, there's a lot more background to the X-Start 1 agreement and what may come in the future, and a lot more thoughts about it as well on our website. Lots of blogs there talking about that very subject for our viewers to take a look at. Thanks for bringing us up to date tonight.